Greetings. A bow regarding to my Pan-African brothers and sisters, and Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Shalom Alaikum to my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. Salaam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. And Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my Muslim brothers and sisters. And to everybody else, peace be upon you. Imam Halim Mustafa al-Bey, Moorish Awakening. We have today's topic that I want to share with you. It's going to be in terms of words, and philosophy, pretty much to the people whom I had just told, greeted. Inshallah. Inshallah means, if Allah wills. I'm trying to get my computer up. With no success. Basically, I identified myself as an indigenous Muslim American Moor. And I have an indigenous Muslim American Moor Society channel, which is the channel in which I have a lot of my Kutbahs. Kutbahs is the Friday sermons. I usually load up to Moorish Awakening channel, and that's my main channel. Indigenous Muslim American Moorish channel was called Imam Halim Mustafa al-Bey channel. I changed the name. I don't want to really focus on me. I rather focus on the information for the mission, not on the person, because the mission has to outlast the person. People referencing me or focusing on me, I say the mission is much bigger than myself. So I want everybody to focus on the mission, focus on what I'm saying, and not what I am, not on me and my personality. Nobody's perfect, and I'm the first to go out there and say I ain't perfect. But I would tell, but the information, of course, is just like the pieces of a puzzle. Pieces of a puzzle is that, you put the pieces together, you start seeing the picture. But if you put the wrong pieces in the wrong places, then the picture becomes distorted. Then you have to take those pieces out and put the proper pieces in. One of the things that I've been teaching basically is that to be a Moor, I have dark skin, not because I'm an African. I'm not an African. I have dark skin because I'm a Moor. That's called Moorish heritage. Like, I inherit from my parents dark skin. This is Moorish heritage. I inherit from my parents my nose, my eyes, my lips, my cheeks. That's more on my mom's side. I inherit these things from my parents. This is Moorish heritage. It's part of it. Mu was the original society. Africa is not the original society. We've been taught about that. Now let's break down the word Africa. Okay, Africa is a word that was used by the Romans first. At the end of the Punic War, they fought with Carthage. Carthage and Rome fought 3 wars. They were called Punic Wars. The last Punic War that was led by, the invasion of Carthage was led by Leo Scorpius, and now people call Leo Scorpius Africanus. He invaded with his army Carthage, and they destroyed Carthage. They killed every man, woman, child. They destroyed all of the structures, everything, every building. They reduced it to rubble. This is the same thing that the Zionists, the United States, UK, so-called Israel, Zionists, are doing to Gaza today. Trying to reduce the drug, trying to wipe the people out, trying to kill every man, woman, and children. They killed over 186,000 Palestinians already. And they keep going. This is what we're seeing. So we're seeing this live. The same thing the Romans did. That's the same thing the Romans did to Carthage. Carthage was founded by a people called the Ifriqi people that came out of Yemen. They were joined later on by a queen who took refuge there from Palestine. She was a Phoenician. She was a Phoenician queen. So they were a power. They were an economic power. The Phoenicians was a worldwide commercial power. So they headquartered in one of their headquarters was Carthage, and they fought Rome. They fought Rome for quite a while. So the word Africa, once Carthage was destroyed, it became the province of Africa in 146 BCE, before the Common Era, before the Christian era. It became the Roman province of Africa. So Africa only was the where we have today Tunisia and some of the surrounding areas. Only in the northern part of what we would call the continent of Africa today. The continent of Africa, it became a continent, and the name was referred to the continent in 1554. 1554, not BC, not BCE, CE. 1554. Now Columbus discovered America in 1492. So he came, our Nakba started in 1492. He invaded our land here, America, in 1492. So when Columbus came here and invaded our land, Africa was not, there was no continent of Africa. There was no continent of Africa. Now some people say, well, in the past it was called a cable line, and in the past, for record, it was called, Europeans at least they referred to it as, they said the northern part of Libya, and basically most of it Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a Greek word that means a place where all dark-skinned people live. Ethiop means, in Greek, burnt face. So everybody, wherever there were dark-skinned people lived, they called it Ethiopia. In 1524, all right, 1524, Giovanni Verrazzano came here, Carolinas, saw my ancestors, and said that they look like they are Ethiopians. They said their complexion was dark, not like unto the Ethiopians. So he said that they looked like Ethiopians, meaning dark-skinned people. There was no country called Ethiopia until after World War I. The country that we call Ethiopia today was called Abyssinia. The people of Ethiopia in Arabic called Habashi. So I figured the word was Habashia, and became prevalent in Abyssinia. Okay. So even the Atlantic Ocean was called, the Southern Atlantic Ocean was called the Ethiopian Ocean. The same ocean that our ancestors, traveled back and forward between. And the creation of that ocean is probably another topic. All right. So Africa, during the time of Columbus, the Pope called it Guinea. He said, enslave the Moors, but do not spare the Guinea. And I believe this was Dum Diversus, which gave the power to, I think it was King of Portugal, to invade lands of non-Christians, to invade the lands of the enemy of Christ, right? To invade their lands, to destroy the kingdoms, the duchies, the counties, and take their possessions and put the people in perpetual slavery. Now, the people that came over here, Columbus and them, they were half Moors. They were Moorish paternal parentage of fathers, and they had Visigoth mothers. The Visigoths are people that came out of the Caucasus Mountains. Right? The Visigoths were the Goths, the Oligarchs stayed in the east, the Visigoths came west. The Visigoths eventually, they were the northern army of the Roman Empire. So the northern army of the Roman Empire, the Rome's, the province, not we call Spain, got its name from Hispania. It was a Roman province. But the people that took over Hispania were called the Vandals. The Vandals were ousted in the early 400s by the Romans sent their northern garrison, which is the Visigoths or the Western Goths, into Hispania, and they ousted the Vandals. The Vandals ended up going into northern Africa, and as a payback of history, the Vandals ended up, 500 years later, after Carthage was destroyed by Rome, the Vandals occupied it and then invaded Rome and tore stuff up. That's why you have, when people tear stuff up, it's called vandalism. They tore it up. So generally, people are talking about, Africa's the black continent and so on. The Vandals were not black. You still see their descendants today. You see their northern, Africa. You see still the descendants today. Mainly a pale skinned people. You have some people that don't even like dark skinned people. I mean, there's dark skinned population still there, like the Tuaregs, for example. Dark skinned population, they have pale skinned people among them that adopted their culture. But the Vandals had a North African empire. And all these pale skinned people, you'd be saying, well, these are Arabs. These are not Arabs, they're Vandals. They're Vandal descendants. Vandal descendants, Visigoth descendants. They're descendants. They come from the Caucasus. They originally come from the Caucasus Mountains. They're Caucasians. So I guess that kind of busted the bubble of some folks that they have the African bandana. I used to sell those African medallions and things. I used to sell the African T-shirts. It's an African thing. You're not gonna understand, or you don't understand. But I used to be all into that. I realized that Africa has all type of people. All type of people. Caucasians, so-called, so-called, what the science like to call us, Negroids, but I say Moors. Everybody is a Moor. Everybody is, you have a Moor, which is a dark-skinned person or a person associated with dark-skinned culture, because we have some people who we call quote unquote black, that have pale skin, but they're black. I'm black. And I said, no, I'm not black. I said, my color, if you look at my bookshelves over here, they're black. I'm not black. My skin is what you would call copper colored or brown, right? Reddish brown. So I go up to something that's really, really brown, and I look kind of red toward it, and that's my heritage. My heritage is from here in the United States, in the United States and in the Caribbean, and all that's America. At one time, and please go to my video. It's my longest video, and that video, Africa is a place of refuge, not origin. When I studied the African, I used to teach African studies. I had developed African study courses, and I taught them in the community. I didn't teach them in any type of college. I taught them in the community to both children and adults. And when I studied that, and I realized that a lot of people that I studied about did not originate in Africa. That's not their story.